I handle rare materials which are centuries old, including books, maps, photographs, and ephemera.
Hi, I'm Joshua Lim. You're watching The Library Report, a series where we explore the illuminating stories and colorful characters found within and beyond our libraries and archives. In this episode, we celebrate International Women's Week by answering your burning questions about the National Library's rare books and maps collection with one of its longest-serving librarians, a woman who has played no small part in bettering our collective knowledge of historical Singapore and Southeast Asia.
Hi, my name is Mages. I'm a senior librarian with the National Library Board. I'm also part of the Rare Collections team at the National Library. I'm here to answer some of your questions, so let's begin. How long have you been working in NLB and why? People will say it's stupid. Especially millennials don't stay so long. I've been working in the National Library Board for more than 25 years. One of the reasons why I stayed is because I like the field of librarianship. I enjoy working with rare and special collections. I also enjoy dealing with people, especially at the information counter. What do you do in a typical workday? My typical workday is never typical, actually. In fact, it's very interesting because I handle rare materials which are centuries old. In a day, I usually do acquisitions of rare materials by sourcing for and identifying suitable titles that the library can purchase to enhance its collection. I also do research on the existing rare materials collection so that we can promote and publicize them through research articles, through blogs, and through other social media platforms. I also answer inquiries from patrons based on the rare materials collection. How are the collections organized? We have various formats in the rare collection, including books, maps, photographs, and ephemera, and these are organized by size due to preservation considerations and also to optimize the space in the rare book room. The books are placed in archival boxes in order to protect them from wear and tear. The maps are encased in mylar sheets and they are stored flat in map cabinets. What is the oldest book in the collection? We have a 1577 publication printed in London. It's called The History of Travel in the East and West Indies. It's actually a compilation of early European travel narratives that were written in a lot of other European languages, but this book is printed in English. Is there a collection of love letters? In fact, there is. We have a collection of letters written by a young man called Richard Murdin Williams. When Williams came to work in Singapore as a young man in 1913, he left behind his fiancée, Catherine Patterson, in London. So he used to write letters to her almost every day, talking about his life in Singapore, how his work progressed, events that were happening in Singapore. But in every letter he wrote, he always professed his love for his fiancée. It's a very touching collection of letters to read. What are some of your favorite historical pieces? As a maps librarian, I also like the old maps, especially those maps that mention Singapore in its various toponyms as Chinkapura, Chinkatola. And one of my favorite maps is this very colorful Bella map printed in 1755, which shows Singapore as an island. And instead of saying Singapore, it actually says Pulau Awal Panjang, which means Long Island in Malay, which is an early name that was used for Singapore in those days. What is the oldest map in the rare collection? The oldest map in the rare collection is a 1478 Ptolemaic map of Southeast Asia called Tabula Acae. It is printed based on Claudius Ptolemy, a 2nd century geographer's geographical manual. This 1478 map is in Latin, and if you look at the leaf-shaped area, that refers to the Malay Peninsula, indicated as Oreo Chersonnesus, which means Golden Peninsula, is an ancient name given by Ptolemy to the Malay Peninsula area, referring to the wealth and riches that can be found in the region. What is something about maps that you love that is often taken for granted? People generally tend to treat maps as a sheet of paper that provides directions and helps them to travel from one point to another. But to me, it's actually a visual documentary record of the early history of Singapore and Southeast Asia. What you see here is actually what you call a road map or a city map. It's produced by Shell. It's usually produced as a foldable pocket maps, to be carried around when you travel or you drive around Singapore. This is mainly the southern and the eastern part of Singapore, and it shows a lot of the major places of interest at the time. So it was produced in 1956, and you can actually see entertainment places like Happy World, New World, University of Malaya, and Great World and Royal Singapore Golf Club indicated as a place of interest. How can I access the items in the rare collection? That's an interesting question. The rare collections are in fact in a restricted area due to preservation considerations. We have microfilmed most of the items in the rare collection, and we are also in the process of digitizing them. And if you want to access the rare materials, we encourage you to look at the surrogate copies, such as the microfilm copies and the digital copies. The digital copies are available on our website called BookSG. And for microfilms, you will have to come down directly to level 11 of the Lee Kong Chian Reference Library at the National Library building. For researchers who wish to look at the actual physical copies of the rare materials, you can always put in a reservation at the National Library Board's online catalogue. I would like to know the true size of old Singapore. In fact, you are in luck. We have a map by John Turnbull Thompson, an early surveyor in Singapore, who produced a map in 1852 called Map of Singapore Island and its Dependencies. And on the map, he actually indicated the size, the area of Singapore and its islands. The total area of Singapore was indicated as 224 square miles. Although the equipment used at the time for surveying may not have been that advanced, that figure would have been a very good estimate. Have you come across any material that was surprising? Okay. I am often amazed at the rarity of some of the items, especially those which have very few copies in the world. I also find the illustrations in some of these rare items very interesting and pretty amusing, especially this one, which is supposedly one of the earliest drawings of the orangutan, which is known as Man in the Woods in Malay. It is in a 1718 book by a merchant who traveled here, and it shows the orangutan looking almost like a human, because in his book, Daniel Beekman opined that he found the orangutan to be more handsome than some of the natives that he has encountered. Could you share more about exhibition curation? What is the process behind it? We do exhibitions in order to promote and publicize our rare and special collections so that they are accessible to the public. For most parts, we try to do an exhibition based on themes. So exhibition involves identifying a particular theme or subject, selecting the titles, and doing research on these titles, and after which these rare items are then placed and mounted in a special display cases. We also have to ensure that there is proper lighting and humidity, and we also ensure that the mounting is done properly. What was the most impactful work you have done? Several years ago, I was in charge of a project called Preservation and Conservation Access Project, where I had to be in charge of organizing and preserving and conserving over 80,000 rare and special collections materials so that they can be ready to move to the new National Library building. And at the end of the project, I helped set up, together with two other colleagues, the Preservation and Conservation Unit at NLB. What is the most challenging part of your work? As there are lots of items that record the documentary heritage of Singapore and the region, choosing what to preserve, what to keep, and what to make accessible is also a big challenge for me as a rare librarian. As one of NLB's veteran custodians, how have you seen this field change over the years? With the advancement in technology, we have been able to digitize more of our collections and provide access to them so that researchers from overseas can access them without stepping into the library. And we have also been able to promote our collections and share our knowledge via social media, just like what I'm doing now. That's all for our questions today. Thank you for watching this episode of the Library Report. Leave a like or a comment to let us know what you think. If you like what you saw today, please click the subscribe button and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.